My brother is a bastard. But how and why do I make this statement? He is arrogant and conceited. I recently had a meeting with him. He sent me a text on my phone saying that if I agreed to meet him with my support worker, he will pay me £600 and I need to bring my utility bills with me. And I'm thinking, utility bills? Why does he want to see my utility bills? And I was extremely hesitant. And so I agreed to meet him. But it's not £600, it's £500. And so we're talking away, and I tell him I have a contract phone. So his advice is to cancel my contract phone, which is a bit strange. Why would he want me to cancel my contract phone? Then I tell him I have Sky. And he says I give him the password to my Sky account so we can phone up Sky. And he can see what he can get rid of in my Sky, so it costs me less money. He doesn't care the fact that it won't benefit me. All he wants to do is to save me money. But answer yourself this question. Why does he feel I need to do this through him? Then when I explained to him I have a website, which has cost me £2,000, which gives me an outlook, a platform for my videos, my audio files, and my poetry and prose, and the pictures I take. And when he says, have I earned any money yet? I said, well, no, I haven't. I'm just starting out. He suggests I cancel my server, money I'm paying for my website. So let's try and understand what's going on here. He wants me to cancel my mobile phone contract. He wants me to give him the password to my Sky account so we can trim away everything that he feels I don't need, where and then, in his opinion, I'm saving myself money, regardless of having almost nothing on Sky. And he wants me to cancel my website. So all those people that have dealt with people that are controlling, you'll know and see the signs. Because I remember one time he sent me a text, and in the text it says reply within 3 hours. I'm thinking, weird, why does he want for me to reply within 3 hours? Well, here was the foundation. Here's to give you more information to why he's so controlling, demanding. When my mother went into hospital in 2016 for the second time, my brother, Stephen Tyrrell, his wife, Diane Tyrrell, my other brother, David Tyrrell, and his wife, Sue Tyrrell, pressured my mother into handing bank authorization to my brother, Stephen Tyrrell. Now, neither of these are disabled. They've never been disabled. I'm the only one who's disabled. But ask yourself this question. Why do they want to control my mother's money? Well, here's an idea. My brother who married his wife, Diane Tyrrell, they are rich and they are posh, extremely posh. So they've been married roughly 32, 33 years. Now, my mother has agoraphobia. When she was alive, she had agoraphobia, so she couldn't leave the house. So the 33 years my brother was married to his now wife, my brother refused point blank to spend Christmas Day with our mother. Every single year he refused. And I asked him this question once. This is the second time my mother eventually was released from hospital. We're in my mother's lounge in her flat in childhood combination. I said, I have a question and I'm confused about something and I feel you can answer and clarify things. Why do you refuse to visit mother in 33 years being married? His wife, Diane Tower, said, well, because of you. And I thought, hang on a minute, it's because of me? Now, let me clarify something. I live in Dorset. My mother lives in Southampton. And my brother and his wife live in Manchester. Now you think, oh, maybe that's about 6 or 7 hours away. But in the past, now, this is the crutch of everything. My brother prefers to visit my mother on Boxing Day. But ask yourself the question. My brother is not disabled. My mother is disabled. And the 33 years of refused to spend Christmas Day with my mother. Now, I live in Dorset, but I only moved down to Dorset in 2005. Before then, I lived in Southampton. And so for me to visit my mother on Christmas Day, the only way around the situation is go up on Christmas Eve and spend 3 days until the buses are running again and the trains will take me home. Now, as my mother has been agoraphobic since 1974, in many ways she's lost touch with reality. So for Christmas Eve until, I forget what day it is, I can catch a bus home. She would control the TV. And I'd go up there and spend Christmas Day with her. And I put up with the fact that my mother not only would control the TV, but I slept on the sofa. Which, it was irritating, but my mother is my mother. If I didn't visit on Christmas Day, no other would. My other brother, David Hill, he's a completely different piece of fish. When he first got married, my mother and father were not invited. I was not invited. I know why, because of what my mother told me. When he got married again, he got married in Canada, but he broke up a marriage and started with a married woman and committed adultery. So they got married. Eventually, they got divorced. Then he came back to England and got married again. But the point is, this time, he married a woman that had been chasing him for 30 years. Can you imagine that? Someone chasing someone for 30 years. Wow. Says a lot about that person, doesn't it? They got married in a foreign country. Now, I've always wondered, because my brother refuses to spend Christmas Day with my mother. I mean, he's disabled. He is not disabled, but my mother is disabled. So look at it so far. My two brothers are not disabled. My mother is. I'm disabled. The reason my brother David Hill resents and hates my mother so much is quite simply is, when my other brother, Peter, was diagnosed with leukemia, my mother would visit him every night, which is purely understandable. So my mother would put David with a neighbour. And over the months and years, my brother David has resented my mother for this, keeping him out of the loop, showing all love to my brother Peter, who eventually died. and that's what caused my mother to have a mental breakdown and develop agoraphobia. Um, Back to my controlling brother. When my mother went into hospital for the first time, my brother went out to my mother's flat and emptied the refrigerator of all the food, but they didn't ask me, do I want any of the food? They just went ahead and dumped it all. And I asked my brother, can I get a key to my mother's flat? And his remark was, why do I want a key? And my reply was, well, in case something happened. If mother had another falling, I can go up there from Dorset to St Anton and get a key. Well, the answer was no. When the first time my mother ended up in hospital, my name wasn't down on next of kin, so when I turned up, it was luckily for me and for her that she was awake so she can clarify who I was. My name was not even mentioned on anything next to kin paperwork, which I find disgusting. Now, once again, my two brothers who controlled my mother abused her and pressurized her. Refused to put my name down as next to kin. And when she lived in sheltered accommodation, I remember one time I was just coming up and the nurse was just leaving, so I said to the nurse, excuse me, how is my mother? And she said, sorry, who are you? I said, I'm another brother. Oh, sorry, I don't know who you are, so I can't talk to you. And so my two brothers made sure that my name wasn't on the next of kin list. And I'm thinking, what is going on here? I'm disabled and they're treating me as if I'm a leper. Now, this could be construed as hate crime. On the night my mother died, it was traumatic. I admit, I didn't really know how to handle it, but I handled it the best I can, so I didn't project myself in a way that I embarrassed other people. So I phoned my brother up. He refused to answer his phone. So I phoned up again. And the third time he refused to answer his phone, and on the third time I phoned up, he turned his phone off. So obviously he saw my number on the phone. I was phoning up to let him know that our mother had passed. So eventually he phoned me up on my mobile. Says, Steve, I'm in a predicament at the moment. I have no funds to get back to Dorset for a taxi. Can you please phone David for him to pick me up at the hospital and take me to our mother's flat so I can stay there tonight? And his reply was, no. And I mean, even to this day, I cannot understand why would a brother refuse to contact another brother to pick up another brother and put him in the flat just for a night. And so if the nurses had not pitched in for the taxi fare, I would have to sleep rough. Now, well, this is hatred. This is unparalleled hatred. I mean, again, they are not disabled. I am disabled. I mean, just think about the mentality of behind all this. So going back to the original beginning where I mentioned that my brother wants to meet me and give me £600, but when we did meet, he only gave me £500. Well, he was paying me, in his wisdom, he's paying me £25 a week. Who could live on £25 a week? Because he is telling me in front of my support worker that all the money that was left in my mother's will that was intended for me, he will determine how much money I will get from when my mother died. in 2016 until I retire. He'd been on 40, 50,000 pounds all his life. So his concept is completely different to my concept of money. And at one point, he did clarify that my mother left me £8,000 for him to give me £25 a week until I'm 67. Well, after he clarified the £8,000, then he said that he took 4,500 out of the £8,000 to pay for her funeral. But he sent me another text saying that he paid for the funeral. But he didn't say he paid for the funeral my inheritance, because in his eyes, there is no inheritance. I mean, my mother didn't leave a will because my brother had been pressuring my mother not to leave a will. Then he produced this documentation which was freaky. And on the document it says, now he's typed it out on his computer and printed it out. It's got a name, Mrs. Anna Tyrrell, but there's no signature. So I won't stand up in court. But in his eyes, because I'm an individual of low intelligence, he's attempting to manipulate me into stating that for the last 15 years, since 1992, he'd been given money by my elderly mother. Now, I know it's bullshit, and those listening probably realise it's bullshit. Now, when I used to visit my mother, who lived in Southampton Hills on a regular basis, my mother would sometimes say, I can only pay you so much this month, I said, because I have bills to pay. Now, I thought, hang on a minute, bills to pay. Okay, she didn't pay a TV licence. She didn't pay rent. She got her money, which was packaged through a farm, which sent out the money in bulk on a monthly basis, and that money was taken care of. So she had no bills apart from extras she would have. And having agoraphobia, you could say, quite easily say that 85% of the money she got from the government for a disability and her age was piling up. So now going back to this piece of paper that he gave me stating that my mother's been giving him money, when my mother has told me that she has bills to pay, he's been stealing money from her, demanding money from her. Because my mother never mentioned that she's been giving my brother Stephen Till money. It's any come from him. Now, let's look at it from a wider point of view. He's disabled. My mother's disabled. I'm disabled. My two brothers are not. And so the meeting I had with my support worker, I know it keeps changing a lot, but I'm under a tremendous amount of pressure. That's why I'm on holiday. I said to him, if you can pay me an extra £10 a week, that will enable me to buy more fruit and less junk food. And by buying more fruit, I can add more healthy food and hopefully lose some weight. And the weird thing about it, he agreed to this, which was surprising, but there's a catch. If I waive the annual holiday fee, which is £600, and the TV licence for an extra £10 a week, I agree to this. But in the long run, it's not going to be easy for me to get a TV licence. So I agreed to this. We signed a bit of paper. And my support worker and the other person who came along as a witness, they signed and they witnessed it. So the following Wednesday, when they were supposed to give me the updated money, there was no updated money. So there's not been another £10, which makes it 35. It's back down to 25. So really, in reality, in his eyes, I can only survive with his help. But he's abusing me and he doesn't realise it. So the annual holiday of £600 that I was prepared to wave away on the £10 increase, he owes me. We have a verbal agreement, witnessed, and the TV license that I wave away for the extra £10 a week, I won't get. And then yet I have a verbal agreement. So that's my brother, who's a bastard, who claims he's loved our mother all his life. But there's the evidence. And so now, when my mother died and I asked him, what are we going to do about the money that my mother has left in her bank account? His reply was, it's mine now. Wow. He's taking control. He's so arrogant and conceited that I have to find a way of proving to the courts to get him arrested for abusing my mother, controlling her bank account, so to control her and eventually to control me. Jared begins at home, not in his eyes, not in his mind. And so it turns out that he has spent my inheritance completely. Everything that was in my mother's account, he's already spent. And I can't do a damn thing about it. This is hatred. This is a hate crime. I'm Isaac Peter. Do hope you've enjoyed my audio.